Hi, right now I'm about to drink Hill Farmstead's Honey Saison. And this is a beer that a lot of people like. And the barrel aged, wild fermented version called Anne is one of their most highly sought after beers that you can, sell for thousands of dollars. I don't have that one, but this one is really good. I've had only a little taste of it almost 2 years ago. I remember having some body, but also plenty of honey flavor and their signature dryness and light tartness. All of their Farmstead ales have. This is bottled it was March 22nd of this year. Their bottles, of course, stay good for basically forever, but I want to have this while it's fresh and I can taste the honey and everything happening with a little bit of foam coming up in there. It's 5%, I believe. Oh no, it's 6.2, so a little bit stronger. And I think it's just kind of very much like Arthur, but with honey added. I guess this one says European and American hops. Can't remember if Arthur had only European and American. I think it did. But let's just jump into it. Yes, very carbonated, for sure. Uh-oh, another dirty glass. Gonna have to crack down on that. Yeah, a lot of bubbles on the bottom. I talk about this sometimes. You can tell your glass is dirty if a bunch of bubbles stick to the sides or the bottom of the glass. But a way to kind of clean it is by swirling it around like this. It's killing some of the carbonation, but these Hill Farmstead beers have plenty of carbonation. I don't think this will ruin the experience. Ooh, this is really dirty. But it kind of just cleans up, gets some of the oils and stuff that are stuck in there. And I don't think it'll ruin my beer tasting experience right now. Well, wow. This is not cleaned very well at all. Make sure you clean your glasses by hand and make it nice and squeaky clean. So you actually can feel a squeakiness. That's how you know that all of the oils are off your glass. It can be hard. You can even look at a glass and not notice that there are lots of oils stuck to it. But the head is now looking beautiful. Big soapy bubbles. I'm smelling a little bit of tartness, but the head looks like an amazing IPA / Hefeweizen head. Really, really, really perfect. And just a little lemon zip. This one's not too lactic forward like some of their Farmstead ales. Really floral. Yeah, really fresh, zesty citrus aromas. Very, very light grassiness. It just smells like a delicious wildflower field. I'm guessing now I'm getting some honey when I really dig deep into that aroma. But it doesn't smell like it's going to be really sweet and thick. And no booze, it's not very light on the phenol, it's just a very light peppery spice. Yeah, this is gonna be very nice. Smells really refreshing too, even though it is 6.2, so it's not really quite a grisette or anything like that. Ooh. A lot tangier on the tongue than I thought. Makes your mouth water, but the lactic acid is not taking over. It just kind of makes you salivate a little bit, but it fades really quickly. Interesting. Yeah, it's got like a honey lemon thing going on for sure, but it's not quite like honey lemon tea. It's a slightly fermented honey flavor. It's not a really thick honeyed mouthfeel. A little bit fluffy, sort of medium body, and some peary, orchardy fruit type flavors. Not very funky, pretty clean in the finish. I think the honey kind of shifts the fruits away from being like peel and tangy crabapple type thing into being more of a refined candy like fruit flavors, pear drops. But there's just something a little bit softer about this than some of their other saisons. But I'm not getting a lot of specific honey flavor. And this bottle, I bought this a couple months ago, but all their beers are bottle conditioned usually for several weeks, if not a month. So I wouldn't say I'm drinking this an aged version of this at, it's less than 6 months old, but it would be cool to try this as fresh as possible right when they release it, to see if you can notice some of the honey a little bit more, because of course the bottle conditioning is going to slowly eat some of that. And they do say they use Vermont wildflower honey. It's definitely lots of sweet floral sort of flavors are happening. And it's really nice. I don't know if honeysuckle, you would say that. I don't remember exactly what that smells like. Almost a lilac aroma. I wish people would use lilac blossoms in beer in some way, because lilac is probably one of my favorite aromas in the world. And yeah, I really like that the lactic character is not too strong. So I can pick out a lot of nice, sweet, soft floral flavors. It's not like stinky flowers, like if it had more Brett Funk going on or something like that. It's mostly just a very light, lemony, yogurty, lactic acid thing happening in terms of, funky, wild stuff going on. Yeah, I feel like they kind of dialed back the yeastiness, the esters and the phenols, and the sourness. So you do get some of the honey notes, but it's not going to be a big honey taste for sure. You might be let down if you want like a thick honey mouthfeel. Like I had an off-color beer, the brewery from Chicago, called Aya or something like that. That really had, it was stronger, 7.5, and it had more body. It had an actual honey sort of feel, and that one had a whole bunch of added flowery, spicy things too. This one doesn't have that, but it's a really, really well-made beer. I don't see how anyone couldn't enjoy this. It just hits all the different flavors that people like. Unless you don't like any beer that's had any kind of lactic acid acidity at all or anything, I don't know how you couldn't like this. I guess some people don't like Belgianese too, but anyone who is actually thinks of themselves as liking good beer will probably enjoy this. Yeah, and it dries out pretty well. Now that some of the acid's building up and I'm noticing a little bit of hop bitterness, it dries out your tongue. It's really refreshing. Light bodied and everything, but not really thin and like watery. Yeah, just another really well-made beer, but I would say unless you want to do some extensive aging on this and see if anything really interesting happens, I would say drink it fresh. That's when it has the honey notes stronger and more noticeable, and that's what kind of makes this beer special. Now it finishes with like an orange tang thing. It almost tastes like I just drank some tang, but a very mild orange, sort of like mandarin. It's very nice though, and it almost has an orange blossom honey sort of flavor, even though they say wildflower. But that's coming from the hops and the yeast that are bringing out the citrusy character for sure. Yeah, this isn't anything, that's changing my life. Drinking this one, first time I had it, just my little sample, I think I was a little bit more blown away, but it's just yet another really great Hill Farmstead Saison. Maybe it's a little more interesting than some of their other ones. And it's definitely worth trying. I wouldn't pass this one up, especially if you want one that's not as assertive and not as tart. This is the one to go with If you're a Saison fan, and I have this at Hill Farmstead, I would not pass it up. So yeah, good rating. Goodbye.